Now a while back, I made a video about how likely it was that we'd get Super Mario Galaxy 3, and I didn't think it was all that likely. It just doesn't seem like Nintendo would go back to the Mario Galaxy series after this long, especially after how well Odyssey did, and I still don't really think it's all that likely, to be honest. But the more I've thought about it, the more it sorta makes sense. I still don't really think we'll actually get a Mario Galaxy 3, but looking at it, I think there's actually a pretty good case for it. So instead of being negative, I thought I would look at why it might actually be a good idea for Nintendo to make a Super Mario Galaxy 3, and if there's any way the next Mario game will have elements from Galaxy. I'm a little insulted by what you're implying here. That has nothing to do with this. Hello all 2,310 of you, I'm Redkwan, and this is why Super Mario Galaxy 3 sort of makes sense. So first, there's the obvious. The Super Mario Galaxy games were very successful. The first Super Mario Galaxy game sold well over 10 million copies, and while Mario is a popular series in general, that was the best-selling 3D Mario game up until Odyssey. Galaxy 2 also did pretty darn well. Part of that might be because the Wii was a very popular console overall, and that's definitely something to consider, but a large percentage of the Wii user base didn't really care about anything beyond party games. Plenty of people who had Wiis probably never even considered buying Mario Galaxy or Mario Galaxy 2. So yes, the Wii's success probably helped a little bit, but I don't think it helped as much as it would seem from the console's overall sales numbers. Mario Galaxy was very successful regardless, and the fact that it was the highest selling 3D Mario game before Odyssey means that it would probably be very successful again if it was brought back. Now of course, the most recent Mario game was Mario Odyssey, so the alternate style that a Super Mario Galaxy 3 is competing against actually was more successful. And that seems like a bit of a problem. Clearly Super Mario Galaxy was successful, but if Odyssey was more successful, it would seem like it would be better for Nintendo to make another Odyssey game than another Galaxy. And initially that was sort of what I concluded, and I do still think that's the direction Nintendo is most likely to go. But at the same time, I think Galaxy has something going for it, and I think there's a case to be made that a Galaxy 3 would actually do better than an Odyssey 2. And it's how people look at the two games now. When both games came out, they were really big deals, and both games were received very well by critics and by fans. But over time, I think the Galaxy games have definitely held their popularity, if not grown in popularity. Sure, there are people who think it's too linear and that the more open style of Mario's is better, but the Galaxy games have almost this legendary status now. I am sorry, that is a really lame way to put it. People look back on the Galaxy games and the Galaxy concept very fondly now, and I think the demand for another game like it has grown since Galaxy 2 came out. It's been just long enough for Nintendo to take advantage of the nostalgia around the games and really capitalize on how much people appreciate the Galaxy games now. Plus, I think if anything, Odyssey isn't seen as being as great as it was when it came out. People still think it was good, but I think most of the comparisons to Breath of the Wild in terms of the best Switch game of 2017 have fallen off, and most people now think it was very good, but not perfect. That could just be what happens when a game is a few years old, but in any case, I think the Galaxy games are seen in a better light than Mario Odyssey is right now. And despite the fact that Odyssey sold better, I think that at this point in time, Galaxy might have caught up in terms of popularity. And also, I think the Galaxy style would work really well right now. After an open type of Mario game, it might be good to go back to something a little more structured. Some people might really disagree with that because Odyssey was the first truly open Mario game since Mario Sunshine, but it has already been 7 years since Mario 3D World on the Wii U, and the Galaxy games aren't totally linear. I feel like the Galaxy games are actually a pretty good mix between an open Mario like Odyssey and something like 3D World. I think it does a really good job of pleasing both kinds of Mario fans and giving everything something they would want in a Mario game. I think it would be smart for a Galaxy 3 to go a little more open than the other two Galaxy games, because of how successful Odyssey was and how strongly some Mario fans feel about Mario being open, but I really do think the Galaxy style of Mario's is a pretty good mix of the two. Also, a modern-day Galaxy on the Switch would be incredibly exciting. Not only are the Galaxy games looked back on very fondly, and it would generate a lot of excitement from the Mario Galaxy 3 name alone, but an HD Mario Galaxy would also be incredible looking. The Wii wasn't very powerful, and the two Mario Galaxy games on it were still really crazy and exciting to look at and run around in. Just all the weird designs and unique areas, as well as flying around in space, was just really cool to play. I think if we saw some of these same sorts of wacky worlds and creatures in HD, it would be pretty incredible to look at. If Nintendo revealed a Mario Galaxy 3 and it looked as interesting as I think it would, the excitement alone would carry it to some very good sales. An HD Mario Galaxy game on the Switch would be pretty unbelievable, and I think at this point, between the shock factor, how much people like the Galaxy games, and the HD Galaxy look, an announcement for a Mario Galaxy 3 would probably get people more excited than an Odyssey 2. Like I've said, Odyssey definitely has its fans, but I do think overall a Galaxy 3 announcement would probably be a bigger deal. And finally, another Galaxy game might actually do better than another Odyssey. The Switch already has Mario Odyssey, and doing another game in the same style would be less interesting for fans, and also because a lot of people already own Odyssey, they might not feel the need to get the sequel. There's usually a pretty big drop-off between games in the same series on the same console, and I think an Odyssey sequel would probably see that too. But Mario Galaxy 3 would seem different enough that a lot of people who might not have bought another Odyssey might be more likely to buy another Galaxy in addition to Odyssey. It would seem newer and more exciting, and because the Switch already has Mario Odyssey, and a lot of people already own that, a Galaxy might be more enticing as a second Mario. Now, do I think Nintendo will make a Mario Galaxy 3 on the Switch? No, I don't really think so. Odyssey was more successful, and based on its reception, it would seem weird to go away from that type of game. Also, the Galaxy series sort of seems like a thing that Nintendo would stop after the Wii. Galaxy 2 was just easy to make from the same engine because they had a bunch of extra ideas for Galaxies, and that's really the only time Mario has had a direct sequel, unless you count 3D Land and 3D World, which seems a bit different. And I do think all of it was a bit of a fluke. But at the same time, I do think it makes some sense, and I don't really think it'd be a bad idea for Nintendo to do another Galaxy game. Maybe Nintendo could incorporate some elements from the Galaxy games into the next Mario game, even if it isn't officially Mario Galaxy 3. I even think doing some sort of mix of Galaxy and Odyssey could be really interesting, and make fans from both camps happy. I don't really see a Galaxy 3 happening, but hopefully Nintendo hasn't totally forgotten about Galaxy either, because I think using some of the best elements from the Galaxy games in a future Mario might actually be a pretty good idea. Well, I'm Redkwan. Do you agree that a Mario Galaxy 3 sorta makes sense? Do you think there's any realistic chance it happens? Am I only doing this for the views? Who put that question in the script? I would never! That's just appalling for me to even think about. Just shameful. Anyways, I'm Redkwan, thank you all for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all later. Goodbye.